What's going on, YouTube? Dusty Can Be Crazy coming at you. I want to do a little bit of a hunting video, show you guys what we run into when we're hunting. Let's go ahead and show you the life of a duck hunter. This stuff right here, we get to play in that all year long. But take y'all on down here, show you the ditch I'm talking about. And you can see they got gravel right here in order for us to back our boats in there. And to be honest with you, the water's up a little bit. It's a little bit deceiving because the ditch is only about 4 or 5 foot wide. But there's a beaver dam right down there, and these guys that's got their boats in, you'll see in my later videos that I've got a they call it Pro Drive. It's a shallow water motor, and those beaver dams like that, it eats that thing for breakfast. We just run right over top of that, get a little air on it and stuff like that. But you guys get to see that this year. Unfortunately, this side over here is blocked off and you can't get into it. Even though we could be able to cross that beaver dam right there, there's not really anywhere to put in a boat at. And I know on down this ditch right here, there's another great big slough down there that opens up in order to be able to do some bird hunting. So anyway, guys, just trying to give you a little prequel of our duck season coming up. And this place right here we call Jenny Hope. That's the reason we call that, is because it's the name. But we come down here to old Jenny Hope and shoot them up. All right, guys, we'll holler back at y'all here in a minute. I'm gonna go on down here to this other slough. So here's our second spot, and really don't know what they call it. We're gonna look down here in the grass, make sure there ain't no copper-headed water moccasins. For any of you guys that don't know what a copper-headed water moccasin is, that's a snake that you don't know what it is. Anyway, don't want to step on one of them today. You could end up having a bad day. But here's the other slough. Of course, right here where I walked up, that's where we put our boats in. And we can't really see down through there very far, but you can tell this is beautiful scenery. You got them cypress trees down through there already turning nice golden brown. And if you look straight out there across from me, there's a stump right there on the right. There's a duck sitting right on the water right beside it. He's just sitting out there swimming around. But and if you don't know what you're looking at, sometimes a duck will look like another stump sitting right beside it. I don't know if I'll be able to show that in my video or not. I'm hoping you guys can see it, because I know how these GoPros are. But they're good. And there's some more right on down there next to that stump of a tree down there, or actually the bottom of a tree. But believe it or not, this right here with this open area and everything, you'd think that this right here would be a pretty good spot. And it's okay on an opening morning, but after that, it's not really the best place to hunt. Because once you start shooting at them on an opening morning, they tend to get smart really quick and stay out of these big open areas like this. Although Jenny Hole's a little bigger than this slough right here, it's got a lot more foliage in there, so there's a lot more places for them ducks to fly in and hide. And believe it or not, this stuff right here beside me, them ducks like to land right on the edge of it and swim up inside of it. And it gives them some cover. I mean, if somebody's shooting at me all day long, I would find me a hiding place too. So, all right, guys, we'll head on down the road. Hey guys, here's something else you may see a little bit of this hunting season. This right here is the Ohio River. I'm sure we'll do a lot of duck hunting on it this year, especially whenever it gets cold and all the backwater and everything gets froze up. When everything gets frozen, you don't really have any place to go but moving water. And right here is a good example of it. Of course, you know, right, we won't be in this area. Just kind of pulled off on the side of the road looking, but there's a couple islands down there that we'll put in up the road here, put the boat in, and come on down the river a little bit, do a little hunting out here. Alright guys, I'm going to do a little bit of over talk my video. I've never done this before, so I'm hoping it turns out okay. What we got going on here, after I showed y'all the river and everything, we're actually set up on the side of the bank. We're going to shoot some clay pigeons, and my wife, she's standing back behind me about 10 feet, throwing the clay pigeons over my shoulder. The reason she's standing where she is because I don't want to take a chance on her, you know, me accidentally, you know, having a bad accident. Let's just say that. We always put safety first, and that's, like I said, that's why she's standing behind me 10 feet. Also, what we're doing here, safe-wise, is my gun, before I load it, it's on safe. The only time I ever take my gun off safety is whenever I raise my barrel up to shoot. Now, in this section of the video, I missed several clay pigeons. And the reason is because this is the first time since December I've shot my gun. And I've had this gun for about 4 years, so you'd think that I'd be pretty good with it by now. But the simple fact of the matter is, with the Benelli Supernova, I've got to aim about 4 inches low in order to hit my targets. And by doing that, I'm not as quick to react on my targets. So when you're having a lead, you know, when you're duck hunting and stuff like that, and you have to lead the bird, and then you have to aim 4 inches low, it's just not a good gun to have, in my opinion. Other guys swear by it; they're great, you know, with it, and they can hit everything they aim at. Me, on the other hand, with the Benelli, no. I kind of made a joke during this video that's not being showed on here. And the reason is I had a little bit of a difficulty with my sound, so I done away with that. But the joke is that Benelli, leave home without it. And the reason I made that joke is because uh, personal use of the Benelli, I haven't had any luck with it whatsoever. Now, other guys, like I said, they swear by it. They love the gun. They say they wouldn't have anything else. And my preferences on guns is a Winchester or Remington, or the next gun I own is probably going to be a Beretta. And the reason I like the Beretta, well, number one, because they're a freaking awesome gun. They shoot smooth. They don't kick. You know, and they're just time tested. So I really like the Berettas. Also, another gun I like is the Smith & Wesson. I've got a 20 gauge Smith & Wesson that I've shot for years up to this point, and every time that up until the point I got this gun. And the thing about the Smith & Wesson is, whenever you pull the bead up, when you pull the trigger, it's just there. You know, you put your bead on whatever you're shooting at, and you don't miss. This gun here, you know, even with a Smith & Wesson, you still have to lead a bird. You know, you've got to go, you know, just out in front of it to make a shot. Well, with the Beretta, you've got to go out in front of it, and you have to drop down 4 inches. During all this time, you're watching a bird flying by, you know, at 20 mile an hour, 40 mile an hour, 50 mile an hour, and then if you got winds, you know, you're shooting at a bird that's just really kicking across there. So it's not the easiest thing in the world to remember to drop your gun 4 inches. That was a good shot right there that I made. To drop your gun 4 inches plus lead the bird that you're shooting at. So with my Smith & Wesson, all I got to do is worry about just leading a little bit, and then I don't miss. So and if you ask me why I use the Benelli instead of the Smith & Wesson, well, it's the caliber of the gun. You've got a 12 gauge and you've got a 20 gauge. But 12 gauge, if you know anything about a gun, or guns at all, A 12 gauge is a bigger caliber gun. You know, it just reach out there further. If you're looking at 30 or 40, yards or so, Smith and Wesson, you can tear them up all day long. The Benelli, you can reach out there and hit them 60, 70, 80 yards. Or at least that's been my luck with them. But with that being said, even though I'm reaching out there at 60, 70 yards shooting at a bird, uh, it doesn't do me any good to be able to reach out there and get them if I can't hit at what I'm aiming at. And hunting for the past 30 some years, I don't really like shooting a gun that I'm not, you know, or shooting, I guess, at an animal and not know that I'm hitting it, because I don't like to hunt. I don't like to wound an animal. If I shoot an animal, I want to go ahead and kill it, because I feel like it's more humane, even though I hunt and kill animals, for some of you people that hate this stuff. But anyway, uh, you can't necessarily go to the grocery store every day and get wild duck. You can't go to the grocery store every day and get wild rabbit. You can't get wild. So anyway, guys, uh, sit back and enjoy the video. Like I said, here's a couple things that I missed. You're gonna see that I messed up my voice on one spot on this section of the video because my face was in the video, and I don't like that. So I removed that part. But I'll catch up with y'all in a minute. Good deal. Okay, guys, talk to you about what's been going on here. What I've got is I put my GoPro on my gun. We'll do a little bit of more clay pigeon shooting. At this point, I realized what I was doing in the last section, and I wasn't dropping my gun down and doing some aiming. And I actually pull my gun up here in just a second. I'm playing just a little bit, and I say this is for all you Call of Duty guys, and I pop off 3 shots real fast. Well, I was going to. I think I said that in my video. I was going to, and then of course I popped the clay pigeon as soon as I pulled the trigger. So there'll be one part on here where I actually just boom, 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 and I'm doing that for fun. And if you guys haven't ever shot any clay pigeons and you don't know that much about guns, I'm telling you guys, this is some of the funnest, time that you'll have. You get out and you do some shooting. Now, I'm not saying if you shoot, 3 or 4 boxes of shells through a 12 gauge pump, or something like that, you're not going to have a little bit of sore shoulder, because it's going to happen. Oh, there was another one, just popped it like it wasn't nothing. But I'm not saying you're not going to have a little bit of sore shoulder, because you will, but you know what? Hey, it's worth it, man. I'm telling you, get out here and see the scenery. And oh, I'm not sure, but I think I missed that one. But anyway, you get out there, man. You just have a lot of fun, and it's a killer time. It's a blast. I don't know how else I can explain it. Setting out over top of the water, and whenever I talk about safety and stuff, if you watch the barrel of my gun is always pointed up, away from everything, or it's pointed directly toward the ground. My wife is standing around me, and you'll never ever see her in the video. As a matter of fact, you won't see anything but maybe my truck for a split second. But my whenever I did have it over next to my truck, my gun wasn't even loaded. So that's one of the big things, man. It's fun, but guys, play it safe out there. And what I'm doing here is, honestly, I'm practicing before duck season comes in. We've got about 3 weeks. Comes in on maybe 4 weeks. It comes in on Thanksgiving weekend here. So, well, that clay pigeon right there, if you notice, I didn't even shoot at it. My wife threw it and I wasn't ready, which happens sometimes. I never told her to pull or nothing like that. Just went. And then that last one, I actually just clipped it a little piece. I didn't miss but one clay pigeon there in this whole section of shooting, and that was that first or second one there. And then, of course, the one before that last clay pigeon that come up, I never even shot because I wasn't ready. But whenever I hit them dead on, you can see what happens. It turns to dust. Like I said, guys, if you haven't shot clay pigeons, it's awesome. It's fun. I think here in just a minute I'm going to show you something on my hand, and it comes from these Benellis. And what I don't like, one thing I don't like about these Benellis is the forearm stock on the Supernova. Now, I'm not sure about the Black Eagles or the regular Novas, because I mean Benelli makes several different shotguns, but on this one right here, as you can see my finger right there, uh, there's actually skin peeling up on my finger from where the forearm stock is ribbed on my Supernova. And man, it tears my finger up every year. And I've got to learn the lesson the hard way for whatever reason. I don't remember to take a Band-Aid and wrap around my finger. Uh, I will when duck season comes in. I'll have a Band-Aid wrapped around my finger, and then that doesn't happen. But for whatever reason, the first time I shoot my gun every year, I always forget to wrap my finger up and come out with a little bit of a skin missing right there. But uh, with that being said, after I put the Band-Aid on, it doesn't hurt anymore. And then I think I'm gonna shoot a few more clay pigeons here, and then we're gonna cut out. I know that y'all don't really haven't seen that many shots. It doesn't look like that I've taken, but honestly, up to this point here, I've actually shot 3 boxes of shells. So I didn't put all my clay pigeon shooting in, but I put quite a bit of it in. And if you can look out across there, look how hazy it looks. The reason it's so hazy is we've cutting a hole. They're cutting beans and stuff like that around here, and so there's a whole lot of dust around us right now, and it gets everything foggy. I mean, it's not like I'm standing out around a big fog bank or nothing. There's no fog rolling in. It's just that's dust where these guys are farming. But anyway, like I was saying before, at this point my shoulder's sore, and I'm not really feeling the whole shooting guns. So I'm just about finished up with this section. And but guys, if you haven't subscribed and you're watching my channel, please do. You know, the subscribe button is down below. And if you got any comments or questions or anything like that on any of the guns I've talked about, you know, I'll explain a little bit more. And I think I'm showing my finger one more time because I wasn't for sure if y'all seen it. But if you got any questions or comments, hey, leave them down below, and I'll definitely try to get back to you. But with that being said, guys, peace. And I do add one little thing here to the end of my video, and it's talking a little bit more about my gun. So guys, here's my setup for my gun. Show that to you a little bit. It's a little weird to me because my camera's actually flipped upside down at the moment shooting this, so it's a little off. But that forearm stock right there is what I was talking about, tearing my finger up. As you can see, them ribs right there, your finger slides up and down that enough, you'll be looking a little bit like that right there. Where's it at? There it is. You'll be looking a little bit like it right there. But this is a Benelli Supernova, and I'm not trying to tell anybody not to buy it, but I'll tell you it's been my experience with this gun. And this gun's only about 5 years old. That after they hit about 4 years, they start having major trouble. And ever since I bought this gun, it shot about 4 inches low. But anyway, guys, just want to add that there at the end of the video. You guys have a great day. Peace for the second time.